You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na, 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 na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me. Oh. My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, it's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
You are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I
Okay,
can come
okay,
over.
come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KZAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness, because there's so much bad news out there. This is a show that balances out all that bad news with good news and good people and good guests. And we've had such a plethora over this last 618 consecutive weeks. I am so grateful that all y'all, there actually weren't a lot, that said a show that was positive would not last more than a year. You're wrong. Almost to 12 years. And not only do I have fabulous guests, I have fabulous series. And it is Wednesday, and you know that means I have my fabulous co-host, Dr. Tiffanie Tate, who, along with me, create Doctors in the House. And we just have such a good time here. She is a licensed OBGYN, so that's the doctor, the MD doctor. I'm the PhD doctor, which just stands for Piled Higher and Deeper. And together, we love to support your happiness and pick topics that help us up-level our happiness and certainly expand our ability to grow, learn, and all of that. She's a great example, Renaissance woman. Not only is she a doctor, but because she had a little accident, big accident, that now left her not doing OBGYN, but that is not going to stop her. She's a very published author. You've got, 3 or 4 books under your belt now?
Yeah, 3, soon to be 4, yes.
Soon to be 4. She's a singer, songwriter, playwright, a wonderful mom to 2 fabulous kids who've been on the show. Please welcome back to the studio, Dr. Tiffanie Tate. Good morning.
Good morning. Always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. And we're going to start with breakfast, which is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. You know the drill. 8 things we're grateful for on the top of the bun and 8 things we appreciate about ourselves on the bottom of the bun. I'll let you start because you're not here.
That is correct. That is correct. I am grateful to be spending spring break. My children are in college, well, my young adults, and we are spending spring break in the beautiful Myrtle Beach. And it is absolutely gorgeous. The food is great. The people are great. And if you are able to come on out to Myrtle Beach, I highly recommend it.
I'm grateful that I have been able to travel to over 100 countries in my lifetime. And I'll do a second gratitude that I did yesterday. Yeah, I'm so grateful that we get to travel again. It seems like a lifetime ago where we had stay at home or shelter at home or whatever the heck that was called and couldn't go anywhere. So that's my second gratitude. What else are you grateful for?
I am grateful for a woman who, because this is Women's History Month, so I do want to provide a little bit of history. And there's a woman who not many know her. Her name was Margaret Ann Johnson, and she was raped at about the age of 8, and her rapist was found guilty, and he spent 1 day in jail, and after his release, he was murdered. But because of this, she became mute for about 5 years, believing that her voice killed him, and she felt that I killed that man because I told his name, and then I thought I would never speak again because my voice would kill people. And when she finally did speak, she had a lot to say. Later in life, she later changed her name to Maya Angelou. A lot of people did not know that. And when Maya Angelou became a voice for women and the Black community, garnering respect and admiration for all her honesty in her writing. And she would say, there is no agony like bearing an untold story inside of you. Since we are both writing and writers, I thought it was important to share that little bit of tidbit about history and her story.
That is awesome. I had no idea. Wow.
I didn't either until I looked it up. I was like, that is a good piece of history to share.
Yeah. I am grateful that I am known as the Asian Oprah because I admire and respect the work that my honorable moniker has done, Oprah, to bring important discussions like that, and spirituality and self-love and trauma and healing from trauma and all of that to the forefront. Because she could have, at that time when she came on TV with her show, was the era of Jerry Springer, and most of the talk shows were very caustic and shock and awe. If it bleeds, it leads. And she took a risk to do what she has become so well known for. And for that, I am grateful, because it is an honor to be, it was an honor to be introduced to her as the Asian Oprah. So that's what I'm grateful for. Yeah. One more?
And I am grateful to be a writer and to try to reconnect and connect with people and to have an impact on both adults and children with my writing, and to make the world a better place, one book at a time.
Beautiful. And I'm grateful that I have people like Dr. Tiffanie as regular co-host on the show, because it's definitely, doing a show on your own once a week is doable. Doing a show every weekday morning and having to find guests was just exhausting. And I'm so grateful that I woke up with the idea of having co-hosts. And you definitely are a beneficial addition to my show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I just heard a little bit of an echo, Frank. I don't know what that's about, but please do tell me what to do in the chat. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is, what do you like about yourself? And Dr. Tiffanie started that segue already. The reason why I ask you to do this as a discipline, as a good life habit, is because a lot of us, thanks to Oprah in the large part, opening the discussion about mental health and depression and a lot of those things that take our happiness down. The good news is we're focused on it. The bad news is a lot of us reach for things outside of ourselves to try to feel better. Shopping, food, pills, all of those things have side effects and consequences. So my job is to encourage you to work your own muscle, find your balance center self, and soothe with self-care and statements of knowing who you really are and how wonderful you are. And that's what I want you to do before you go to bed tonight. So we're going to model it right now. What do you like about yourself? Dr. Tiffanie, sorry.
I like my sense of adventure. I am always a person who is ready to get up and go and try something new, whether it's traveling or hopping on a roller coaster or taking a bite of a new food. As long as it doesn't have something I'm allergic to, I'm willing to try a little bit or sample something. I do have a sense of adventure, so I'm always willing to do a little something daring.
Yes, and we share that. No fear is my middle name, and jumping into that, I appreciate that about myself. Another one?
And I like the fact that I am willing to go the extra mile and put myself on the line for someone I love. If I see someone is in need, I am going to go and try to be there for them if I know that it is a sincere need. Now, if you're just like, hey, I want something and I don't need it, that's another thing. But if it is genuine and sincere and you're not trying to take advantage of me, I don't like being taken advantage of. I've been there, done that, been down that road. Don't like it. That makes me resentful and angry. That's a whole different can of worms. But if I can see a sincere need, I will try to meet that.
Beautiful. And I'm going to turn this gratitude into an appreciation. I am grateful. I appreciate my ability to attract really good sound engineers who are not only good at their job, but they bring me wonderful gifts. Let's see if I can point right there. You see my new little neon peace sign. He found it, I guess, when he was Christmas shopping, and I got to take him out for lunch, and he gave me a peace sign. That's my sound engineer, Frank. So I appreciate my ability to attract really great, generous, sweet people. So that's for you, Frank. One more. What do you like about yourself?
I like the fact that I can genuinely love and support people. Because if you don't love me, I don't mind that. I'm going to love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's a good one. I love you, and there's nothing you can do to change that.
Yes.
And I appreciate that I am still on my new good life habit too, along that line. It's a CFL, coming from love, trying to do that no matter how curmudgeon-y people are, or how insulting they are, or how, it's very apparent they don't like you. Oh, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going away. And that sort of happened yesterday. And I also appreciate my ability to sort of bounce back. It takes me a little bit, but not like days, and it didn't mess up my sleep. And, I was able to process through that relatively quickly. So I'm very, very proud of myself for that. All right, that's it for having breakfast on Doctors in the House with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Promise that if you do this little life exercise, good life habit, for the next 28 consecutive days, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. And now Dr. Tiffanie is going to introduce the topic for today.
The topic for today is beauty and beauty standards, and what is it and why is it? And basically, I know that we all have a standard of beauty. And so I know, Dr. Marissa, you always ask me, why did I choose this topic, right? Right. I know I sent you the video. Actually, I
can play it.
Okay.
I've asked you ready to play it.
Yes.
Do you want to play it now? Okay.
Yes, go ahead and play it now.
All righty. Here we go.
These celebrities' wives don't adhere to society's beauty standards. Spoiler alert, James Bond isn't married to a Bond girl. Here are the wives of famous male celebrities who have been dubbed ugly by fans and the public opinion. Enjoy. Number 10, Pierce Brosnan and Keely Shea. Kicking off our list, we have Pierce Brosnan and his wife Keely Shea. Pierce Brosnan is easily recognizable as a former 007 star and from countless other wildly successful movies. You'd expect him to have a model or a fellow actress on his arm, but people are often surprised when they see his significant other, former TV host and journalist Keely Shea, who's certainly not the model or Bond girl fans expect. She's considered ugly because she's overweight. There's also the fact that she was slim when they met and later gained weight that irks fans. According to fans, she's so overweight that they believe Bronson is living a double life. Despite this, and even because of this, Bronson still preaches to this day of how, even after over 20 years that they've been married, they're still as attracted to each other as they share a deep bond. Deep bond aside, fans who have met her say things like, "My partner just told me that she met Pierce Brosnan yesterday. She said that his wife is ugly and fat and that she has hairy armpits." Number 9. Hugh Jackman and Deborah Lee Furness. One, let's say eloquent fan, described Hugh Jackman and Deborah Lee Furness as Hugh Jackman works with some of the most beautiful women in the world, and then he goes home to his ugly wife. Respect. So the wildly attractive and humongously talented actor Hugh Jackman is married to an actress, but not the one you'd expect. Meet Deborah Lee Furness, his 12 years elder wife. This mismatched but oddly fitting couple met back in 1995 when they were castmates. In fact, Furness was the leading lady on the TV drama Corelli. This is actually a very sweet story. It was Hugh Jackman's first acting gig, and he played his future wife's love interest. Whenever they're seen in public, especially at the beach, comments about Furness are brutal. Fans criticize both her flabby body, horrific sun-aged body, and joke about how horrible it would be to sleep with her. It's come to the point that some fans believe Jackman has to be either gay or bi to endure his marriage. Number 8. Jesse Williams and Aaron Drake Lee. Recognize this heartthrob from the hit and heartbreaking TV drama series Grey's Anatomy? Jesse Williams is famous for playing the role of the ruggedly attractive Dr. Jackson Avery. Before that, he was just an average teacher in New York. Imagine all the eye candy that was laid out on his road to fame. But the one woman who locked him down had known him from a young age, real estate agent Aaron Drake Lee. Before anyone asks Aaron how she managed to capture those mesmerizing electric blue eyes, know that the couple are divorced because Williams wanted to become the hot single guy in Hollywood. Over time, their relationship had become strained because people kept wondering why he wasn't with a hotter woman or a beautiful actress. Number 7. Clive Owen and Sarah Jane Fenton. A real-life Romeo and Juliet? Maybe not. Is it just us, or is Clive Owen getting better looking with age? His enthusiastic fans seem to think so as well. But for as much attention he's getting for being attractive, his wife is getting the opposite. To counter all Owen's best works, which include roles in Sin City, King Arthur, Closer, and Derailed, Sarah Jane Fenton is also an actress. The two met when they co-starred as Romeo and Juliet in a traveling production of the tragic tale. They tied the knot later and now have 2 beautiful daughters, Hannah and Eva. The hate directed towards Sarah Jane seems to be more focused on her quote, unquote, dour face. But if you come at his wife, Owen snaps back. When he describes his wife, he calls Sarah Jane an absolute diamond and says their relationship is everything to him. Number 6. Aaron Johnson and Sam Taylor Johnson. One of GQ's 50 best-dressed British men has a thing for the older ladies. We wouldn't go so far as calling him a cougar hunter, but no one can deny the glaring age difference between the kick-ass and Quicksilver star and his wife, Sam Taylor Johnson, who's 23 years his senior. This is where the ugly part comes in. She's been called a sick old hag and predatory by fans who wish she could croak away. When seen in public and on the red carpet, the couple is often mistaken for a mother and son. When they met, Sam Taylor Johnson already had older children from a previous marriage. Now, after tying the knot in 2012, the two share 2 children together. Number 5. Paul Rudd and Julie Yeager. The secret to Paul Rudd's immortal good looks is that he doesn't care about his good looks. Fans see that clearly now with his wife. So whether you loved seeing Paul Rudd in his breakout role in Clueless or from his iconic role in Ant-Man and the Marvel Universe, you have to admit Paul Rudd looks like he's barely aged. A large part of that is because of the lifestyle he indulges in. including one that's completely off Hollywood. He's notoriously private when it comes to his plain Jane publicist wife. Their privacy have protected them from the worst of the hate, but unattractive and ugly comments still roll their way. Number 4, John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. Next up, we have John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. Fans may have loved the singer and his wife in the All of Me video, but that's where the compliments stop. All Teigen needs to do is post a video in a bodysuit or swimsuit for both men and women to jump on the ugly wagon, making fun of her curves and, well, everything. There's one iconic photo of Chrissy holding up their son Miles and John looking down very disappointedly at her body. And how could we not mention her infamous ugly crying face when John was winning an award? Fans think Chrissy is an attention seeker and she destroyed herself with plastic surgery. Number 3, Tony Goldwyn and Michelle Muskie. Is this why he always takes his daughters to events? Having Kerry Washington on your arm may have set the bar too high for Scandal's fictional U.S. president, Fitzgerald Grant III. In real life, he's married to production designer Jane Michelle Muskie and has 2 daughters with her. When out in public, you probably won't recognize Goldwyn and Muskie as a couple. Scandal fans who dig up Tony Goldwyn's personal life couldn't believe what they were seeing. One tweeted, "Google's Tony Goldwyn's wife. 2 expectations versus 1 reality." Another fan commented on a forum, "I know his wife is 6 years older than him, but she looks like his mother. Looks like she borrowed her shirt from Monique's Moesha wardrobe." Number 2, Omari Hardwick and Jennifer Fauch. Coming in at number 2 is Omari Hardwick's wife, Jennifer Fauch. Maybe people are too used to seeing Omari's romantic on-screen endeavors as Ghost with Angela and Tasha, so they're shocked when they see his real-life wife, Jennifer Fauch. They're so shocked that they believe she's transgender and resembles Steve Nash. They've also mocked her for looking like Gary Oldman from The Fifth Element. Unfortunately, when you get married to a Hollywood star in a show that attracts an extremely dedicated fan base, you're vulnerable to getting hate. And Fauch has faced tons. Fans often take to discrediting Omari's wife and marriage on social media, flooding even the heartfelt posts with racist remarks. But guess what? Omari Hardwick is nearly as intimidating as his character. He quickly comes to the defense of the love of his life. Next time someone tries to hate on Jennifer Fauch, either for her unconventional looks or whatever excuse they can find, just remember that she's the one to push Omari into taking the lead role in Power. Number 1, David Beckham and Victoria Beckham. We've saved our most controversial couple for last. At number 1 is the thick and thin couple, David and Victoria Beckham. Are they still together for love or for their brand? We'll find out. Long before Victoria married football star David Beckham, she was a world-famous pop starlet as Posh Spice from the pop group Spice Girls. You can guess why. Victoria is notoriously unsmiling whenever she's photographed. But that's not the only reason why she gets a lot of hate, and why some people go as far as calling her ugly. It's because of her weight. No matter what she does, Victoria Beckham has always had people comment on her weight. When she was young, she was once called a fat puppy by her mother. Maybe that's what made her lose so much weight later on, and why she suffered from low self-esteem issues. Suffering from severe acne for the majority of her life didn't help either. Now, most and nearly all the hate she gets can be attributed to her too thin physique. She's been described as anorexic, bulimic, a stick figure, and everything under the sun. One person even creatively said it must hurt to sleep with her due to how thin she is. Other people also mentioned that David Beckham is only with her to keep their business empire successful, despite having 4 children with her and being married for 20 plus years. It must be tough to be in her shoes. And that's a wrap for today's video. Do you really agree with why people hate these celebrities' wives? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified the next time we bring you another Celeb Glam Life.
I honestly, there was a part of me that didn't even want to play that to give that even space, but because, it serves the purpose of setting the stage for how stupid and ugly trolls and people who are like, if I look like them, I'd be miserable too. The fact that even say that is just horrifying.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so when we look at the reality of things and we start evaluating how we look at life, you come to think, what is beauty? And so I was thinking, okay, if we look at Webster's dictionary and we start looking at various definitions, so I Googled what is beauty. And so it says beauty or beauty is defined as the qualities present in a thing or a person that gives intense pleasure or deep satisfaction to the mind, whether it's arising from sensory manifestations such as shape, color, sounds, etc. And it's like a meaningful design or pattern. Something else as personality, in which spiritual qualities are manifest. So if you're looking at someone's personality, where does the physicality come from? And so in 2020, I looked it up. Modern beauty was known as what you want and the kind of beauty you want in your life and in the mirror. So the reflection, it's all based on the physical. And it's like, you're never settling. And it's about your own idea of perfection mixed with the kindness to yourself. And none of that was kind. And none of that was about people reflecting on themselves. It was about things that people were projecting onto other people. And it was very harsh and it was very mean. So, what defines beauty in a woman is the question. And who defines beauty in a woman? So I began to do some research because I'm a physician and I have a scientific mind. And I found an article, and it says the feminine beauty ideal traits include, but are not limited to, female body shape, facial features, skin tone, height, clothing style, hairstyle, and body weight in order to emulate said desirable traits. Women have chosen to undergo facial and body altering practices which range in severity. And we as society need to figure out who
Sorry.
We as a society need to decide to figure out who is going to set these standards. A lot of times we let the media set the standards, but the prevailing beauty standard for women is heteronormative, but the extent to which it has influenced both lesbian as well as bisexual women is debatable. What do you think, Dr. Marissa?
The fact that I just went back to the video to see how many views that had, and that's the problem, is that it was 5.3 million views. So it is, we can rail against it, but it's like, honestly, this is the one thing that I don't see as being fixed in our lifetime. I think the fact that my daughters, who are 24 and 26, are really good at criticizing this type of analysis is a good sign. But the fact that it's this giant topic that we, no matter how we feel about it, we're kind of like, our hands are tied. Because like yesterday, my guest talked about breast explants, right? Taking out breast implants. But that we sort of started this topic with, what is it about women who would actually do something like a breast implant now when there's warning labels and it's pretty clear that it is a poison in your body, and there are links to it causing cancer. right? And you all see too, plastic surgery gone back wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would drive you to do something like that in order to what? Feel beauty? And I'll put the moose on the table. Some people will say, I don't do it for anybody else. I do it for me. Okay. Which I say that about losing weight. I'm doing it for me. I know how I feel about myself when I have too much extra weight, and it's not good for my hips. I've had 2 hip replacements, so it's health-wise as well as I feel better about myself when I look in the mirror. But to what extent? People go to Mexico and get the liposuction and to save money, and you hear about botched things that way. People die on the table, and yet that angst, that personal angst to want to feel beautiful or be seen as beautiful. That's what it perplexes me, but at the same time, I have to admit, I can understand it, because if you grow up with feeling like they were saying about Beckham, the wife of David Beckham, Victoria Beckham, and her mom called her what? Something. It reminded me, my mom called me fat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the way it works is that as young girls, we're groomed. You have the fairy tales and mass media and the advertisement, and you have this ideal body picture of the perfect shaped child. There's no overweight princesses. You just don't see that. And there are no overweight cartoon character princesses. And the fairy tale is this ideal body weight child, and everything is perfect, and or what is deemed as perfect. And so you're groomed for what is ideal. But as a physician, I've seen these people with these slender bodies drop dead because they have high cholesterol, they have cardiovascular disease, they are the thin diabetic patients. So they're not necessarily healthy. And what you need to do is aim, and your goal should be to be healthy, not have the perfect body. So as a physician, I want you to be healthy. I don't want you to have the perfect body. So what I want from you is different than what you want for you. And so the pressure to conform is very different. You have people who try to bleach their skins because they don't want to be dark. I looked it up, and it's a cultural thing. And if you start looking through different policies or different practices, not necessarily policies, different practices, you can see that it varies because people are discriminated against within certain cultures. But if you start looking through advertisements, models often set the standard of beauty. And
it's not the model's fault.
No, it's not, because they're just being hired. It's who's hiring the models. It's the high fashion standard. But I will say that now they are starting to say all shapes and sizes. So if you start to look at commercials, they are gearing, not everybody, but they are gearing to be more inclusive in their advertisements. So you will see not just one golden standard. They are starting to have the plus size models. They are starting to have different colors, not just one size fits all. So we are starting to embrace the Rainbow Coalition for one thing. And it's a challenge, but how do we tackle the challenge is to start the conversation. No, this show isn't going to fix it, But for us to be the litmus test and to light the match to trigger the conversation is how we start the process.
Yeah, and this is actually a comment from Frank. I copied and pasted it because he put it in the private chat, which is one thing women don't seem to know is that there are plenty of men that are attracted to body types other than the stereotypical Barbie body. To self-conscious women out there, just know there's someone out there who will find you perfect just as you are. Thank you for that. And it is truly such a, personally, when I don't feel good about my body, I can't enjoy anything in the bedroom because I'm thinking about what you think about my body instead of being in that moment. And I am working on this, but it's tough because the conditioning is so strong about criticism, self-criticism first and foremost, of how you look at your body. And when people have told me, my past guest, Dr. John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, he's like, you have to understand that once you're in bed with clothes off, the man thinks your body is the best thing in the world. That is the perfect body, right? And there's none of the evaluation that you believe goes on. You're the only one that's evaluating yourself. And I'm trying very, very heartily to do that. But the forces against it are, one, I remember I was doing some diversity training, and this guy that worked for a bank had on a bumper sticker on his BMW that said, "No fat chicks allowed."
But you know what, Dr. Marissa? If you're with a guy who has a problem with your body in the bedroom and he is criticizing your body in the bedroom, you're with the wrong guy. And you need to be with a different guy. Because like your past guest said, a man should be able to appreciate all the lumps, bumps, and curves of your body in the bedroom. And if he doesn't, then he probably should move on.
Okay, but let me put the moose on the table, and this goes also to when I do couples coaching, and they did meet and were like, and I did meet Pierce and his wife, by the way, at Newport Beach Film Festival. I'm one of the sponsors there for years, and I have to say, I had never met her, and it was like one of those, and then I met her, and they were producing this film called Poisoning Paradise, and she's lovely. And again, I am guilty of that too, because we do, judge by what we see. It's not right, but we do. We notice three things: gender, race, and age. That's what we do. But to go to the point of seeing that difference as bad or wrong, that's on us. Then we have to just say something. Like, I will go back and put a comment there if I feel like I'll sleep on it before I do it, because I usually don't write anything negative. But to take a stand, that's the only way this is going to change, is if we take a stand, talk about it. We're bringing this up, the topic now, and also challenge those who are saying stuff like I'll never forget. We were talking about companies that are doing really good. Dove soap is one of the best examples I know of consciously putting in a variety of models. And I'll never forget, I was in the car with someone, I can't even remember why, with a group of people, and he saw the sign and said, "That's disgusting. That shouldn't even be an ad. Why am I being made to look at fat women?" And I was like, needless to say, I gave him a piece of my mind as nicely as possible. And he attacked me, and it was like, those are the ones who continue to keep this alive, to shame any valuing of diversity in looks. But let me go back, because I think this is an important moose on the table. A man will say, when I met my wife and she looked like this, and she told me that health and fitness were important, and now, you know, she's gained 40, 50 pounds, and I'm not attracted to her anymore. If I go by what you said, if a man is, you know, not attracted to you, he's not the man for you. But is there some line? Is there some, you know, and that could be the other way around. You met your man when he had a six-pack, and now he has a dicky-do. So you're not attracted to him. You know what a dicky-do is, right? Mm-hmm. Did I tell you that? Oh, I haven't told you this? Oh my gosh. No. And she just cracked up. So a dicky-do is when a man's stomach sticks out more than his dicky-do.
Oh, okay.
And a woman's booby-do is when her tummy sticks out more than her booby-do.
Oh, okay. We call that Dunlap's disease. when it Dunlapped over.
Okay, so speak to that. I mean, is there a middle ground there at all?
Well, see, I look at it like this. When you married, did you marry for physical reasons, or did you marry because you loved the person, and did you marry for personality? Because it's the same person on the inside that you married. It's the same person that you loved. He has the same personality and the same heart and the same emotions. And if you work with him, you and reconnect. And again, this is about intimacy and about bonding. So if you spend quality time with that person, you can still reconnect, and that's going to still be the same person on the inside. And it goes back to our show on intimacy. And it's not necessarily about physicality. The physical portion is not about intimacy. That's a small portion about reconnecting and intimacy. And sexual intercourse isn't the key to intimacy. Connecting is the key to intimacy. I can't hear you, Dr. Marissa.
There was a fire truck going by, so I muted. But is it physical attraction, that chemistry? Isn't that a part of the relationship, the part of the glue, the part of the love? That is, I agree that personality and that definition, but isn't it like more than just personality? Isn't it the combination? Because I'm dating now, and the first thing that I swipe on is how they look.
But you don't have 20 years invested with this person. So if you have 20 years invested with this person, you don't already have a connection. So you're talking to somebody who has already been in a relationship with somebody. If it's a stranger, by all means, absolutely, deuces, bye, peace out. See ya. But if you're talking about somebody who you already have a relationship with, you already have kids with, you already have a connection with, you're not going to toss the baby out with the bathwater. It's kind of like the other video I sent you. Remember the lady who was getting the gray hair and people were talking about her, and that was an issue, and she had the trollers harassing her and harassing her family. And that was an issue there. And I think that that's a problem where a lot of times people like to come in and comment and pass judgment on other people's relationships that they're not even involved in. What you do within your own relationship is okay because it's your relationship. And that was one of the things I wanted to say about the video. Hey, again, I always say, do you, boo? That's my thing. do you? But passing judgment on others, that's a whole different situation.
I'm just seeing how long this is. It's 3 minutes. We have, would you want me to play it? We have like 8 minutes left.
Yeah, I think you should play that because that's very important.
And just this is another comment from my sound engineer Frank. I've also found that as I grow an emotional connection with a woman, their physical attributes I may not have initially found perfect end up being beautiful to me. So good point. You know, that kind of, you know, the visual stimulation. It's, you know, I have never been able to make that change. Like if I don't find a guy attractive, even after, you know, some time, he doesn't grow on me, but I've heard that happens. so it obviously happens. I'm sure it happened, you know, to more people. I'm just the aberrant on that one.
The outlier.
And it's something, you know, I do believe it's tied to the way I grew up learning about what beauty is, because I was criticized so much, literally told you are fat and ugly by your primary role model for 17 years, continues even to this day. When I'm on the phone with her, she's 89. She doesn't realize, so I can't fault her, and I love her. But that is a huge root of self-disgust that I have to constantly work on, you know, which is why I didn't date for 7 years. But anyways, okay, here we go. Let's see this. All right, sharing that. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. Why is the volume not on? Oh, here we go.
Uh-oh, it's not playing.
It's not playing?
No.
Never live to be
Now it's playing.
old. Every sign of aging that I have is a sign that I'm still alive. A lot of people don't get the privilege to ever live to be old. And I probably won't either. Which means that I don't have time to waste criticizing myself, and I don't have time to waste criticizing other people. I care a lot more about what my life is like right now. I was born with a genetic jaw deformity, and it showed up in puberty really prominently. And of course, there were plenty of kids who took the opportunity to point that out to me and make fun of me. And I let it completely break me. I felt like I was some sort of hideous monster. I had to wait until I was older and an adult and finished growing before I could get it fixed. And I always told myself that once I finally got that surgery, I would be happy and I would be beautiful then. And that surgery came and went. And I was really happy for a little bit. And then once the excitement wore off, I realized that I was just me and I was the same person I'd always been. And I still felt the exact same way about myself. It has taken me more than a decade of really hard work to change the way that I felt about myself. I have a crooked nose with a hook in it. I've got freckles and bags under my eyes. I've got a yellow tint to my skin. I have hairs that grow in places I don't want them to. I fluctuate in weight and carry more pounds than I'd like to sometimes. I've got wrinkles and stretch marks and sunspots and scars all over my body. And I also have gray hair. And I love all of it. It's taken me a long time to learn that. The world needs more people who will build each other up instead of tearing each other down. The world needs more men like my husband who are willing to encourage women to embrace who they are. The world needs more women who are willing to rock their bodies exactly the way that God made them. Be that person. Be that person. Be that person.
Wow. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. I just gave a comment too. Told her that we were playing it. Wow. Yeah, that's what we're doing today here. If you've just tuned in, it's my first station ID. We're almost done. If you just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in the studio today, we're marking Women's History Month with, I think, the most important topic for us to really look at taking a stand on changing, and that is beauty, the beauty standard, how we definitely have a long way to go. And thank you, Dr. Oh, the Facebook's still on. Thank you so much, Dr. Tiffanie, for bringing this topic to the show. And it is so important. If you have any comments, we have actually a very active commenter today. He's my sound engineer, Frank. But if you've just tuned in, if you're listening in the car, don't comment. But, you know, we're always welcoming to any comments and questions you may have. This is Doctors in the House with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And this is a really important. I don't think we've just opened the can. So maybe we want to continue this discussion next week, because I don't feel like we're done with it, definitely. But we have 3 minutes left. What's your final word?
Okay, just remember that beauty is more than skin deep. I'm just happy that I had an opportunity to speak, to let you know that God created us to be more than superficial beings. And remember that we have an emotional and intellectual moment in time so that you can see your inner being. Be blessed, people.
I have a little homework as my final word. Let's all take a minute and write down what our beauty is. Why do I think I am beautiful? And I purposely worded it that way. So why do I think I'm beautiful? What is beautiful about me? And that's your Happy 88 homework today. I want to do a quick giveaway for Asian Oprah giveaway. It is my sponsor, one of my sponsors, the Saban Theater, where music meets the soul. And the tickets is a pair of tickets today to Wayne Newton. He's one of the top 3 entertainers of the century in Nevada. He's got that award along with Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley. He's going to be at the Saban Theater on Friday, March the 29th. So for a free pair of tickets, go to drmarissa.life, put Wayne Newton, and you'll get that free pair of tickets. Thank you so much for being with us today. You know how I like to sign out. Peace in. Peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. Tomorrow, Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and James Hawthorne. Just keep it here for more good news.